Japan, a land of ancient traditions and timeless beauty. Long ago, at the end of the Edo period, a significant transformation was underway. The sun was setting on an era that had lasted for centuries. The country was changing fast and things were uncertain. The bustling markets and crowded ports were filled with whispers of a new age. Samurai warriors, once the most powerful people, didn't know what their future held. They walked through villages and trained in courtyards, clinging to their way of life. New ideas from the West were challenging old Japanese traditions. Western ships docked in Japanese harbors and people began adopting Western clothing and customs. It was a time of big changes, a time for heroes. The rising sun over the landscape symbolized a new dawn, and lone samurai stood on hilltops, contemplating their place in this evolving world. SAIGO TAKAMORI. Remember that name. He was a man of great honor and courage, a figure who would become synonymous with the samurai spirit. He was right in the middle of all this. As the world around him changed, SAIGO stood firm, embodying the values of the samurai while observing the rapid modernization of his beloved country. Born into a changing world, he became a legend. From a young age, he trained with the sword, mastering the art of the samurai and preparing for the challenges that lay ahead. His story is one of bravery, honor, and fighting for what he believed in. In battle stances and duels, he demonstrated the unwavering spirit of the samurai. SAIGO's life was like Japan itself, struggling to adapt to a new time. He walked through modernizing towns, often finding himself at a crossroads, both literally and figuratively. He fought to keep the warrior's way, the Bushido code. Through martial arts practice and meditation, he maintained the discipline and honor that defined the samurai. He was loyal and made sacrifices. At shrines, he made offerings and bowed in respect, showing his unwavering dedication to his beliefs and his people. He was a true samurai. Walking solitary paths and wearing traditional attire, his solemn expression reflected the weight of his responsibilities and the depth of his commitment. SAIGO was born into a samurai family in Satsuma, a strong area in southern Japan. This region was known for its fierce warriors and rich traditions. From a young age, SAIGO was immersed in the ways of the samurai, a path that would shape his entire life. As a boy, he learned how to use a sword. His training was rigorous and demanding, requiring not just physical strength but also mental fortitude. Every day, he would practice for hours, perfecting his technique and honing his skills. He trained in martial arts. This training was not just about combat, it was a way of life. It taught him discipline, respect, and the importance of balance. The martial arts were a crucial part of his development, shaping him into a well-rounded warrior. He studied how to fight and what was important in life. His instructors were seasoned samurai who imparted not just techniques but also wisdom. They taught him about honor, loyalty, and the samurai code, values that would guide him throughout his life. He was honorable, loyal, and disciplined, like a true samurai. These qualities were not just expected but demanded of him. He meditated regularly, reflecting on his actions and ensuring that he lived up to the high standards set by his ancestors. But SAIGO was more than a warrior. He was a thinker, a man who pondered the deeper questions of life. He spent time in nature, finding peace and clarity in the serene landscapes of Japan. This reflection made him a more thoughtful and compassionate leader. He had strong beliefs and was very loyal. His loyalty was not just to his family and clan, but to the very principles of the samurai way. He believed in justice, honor, and the protection of the weak. These beliefs drove him to become a leader among his peers. He believed in the samurai code. This code was his guiding light, a set of principles that dictated his every action. It was more than just a set of rules. It was a way of life that he embraced fully, dedicating himself to its tenets. He saw the changes happening in Japan as dangerous to his culture. The encroachment of modernity threatened the traditional ways that he held dear. He observed these changes with a heavy heart, knowing that they could erode the very fabric of his society. He felt sad for his people. The struggles they faced in adapting to a rapidly changing world were evident. He saw the confusion and loss in their eyes, the difficulty in maintaining their identity amidst the tide of modernization. He saw them struggling with the new world, a world that might erase their traditions. The clash between the old and the new was stark, and he feared that the rich heritage of his people would be lost forever. This struggle was not just physical, but also spiritual, as they tried to hold on to their values and beliefs. He promised to protect them and their way of life. This vow was not taken lightly. It was a solemn promise to stand against the forces that threatened his culture. He dedicated himself to this cause, ready to fight for the preservation of his people's heritage and the samurai way. People were drawn to Saigo because he was loyal and inspiring. He became a powerful leader in Satsuma. He was known for being brave, wise, and always there for his men. He understood that Japan needed to change to survive, but he also wanted to keep Japan's heart and soul, the Bushido spirit. This made him clash with the new government. He became a symbol of hope for those who wanted to keep the old ways. He stood against the changing times. His name meant honor, bravery, and the strong samurai spirit. In 1868, the Meiji Restoration changed everything. The emperor was back in power, Japan had a new government, but this new Japan came with a price. Samurai weren't special anymore, they lost their power. Many felt lost and betrayed. Saigo understood their pain. He felt it too. He fought for the emperor, wanting a stronger Japan, but he saw the bad things about this new order. Traditions were disappearing, his people were suffering. He knew he had to do something to save Japan's spirit. Saigo disagreed with the new government more and more. He saw dishonesty and the loss of important values. He felt he had to protect Japan. With a heavy heart, he led a rebellion against the Meiji government. The Satsuma rebellion was a last fight, a desperate try to save the samurai way of life. He knew it would be hard to win. The rebellion was crushed by the new, modern army. Saigo and his loyal followers fought hard, but they could not win. He was a warrior in a world that no longer needed him. Saigo always followed the Bushido code. He was honorable, loyal, brave, and willing to sacrifice himself. He believed in serving something bigger than himself. He saw samurai as protectors of Japanese culture, not just fighters. They had to keep traditions safe and protect the people. Many people agreed with Saigo's ideas about Bushido. He believed in living for a purpose, for something greater than yourself. This inspired people who felt lost in the changing world. He gave them a hero to follow. Even after the Meiji Restoration, Saigo kept his beliefs. He still practiced traditional Japanese arts. He taught sword fighting and beautiful writing. He taught his students how important it was to keep their heritage. He saw teaching as a way to resist, a way to keep Japan's spirit alive. He believed that even if they lost, their values could live on. By teaching, he could pass on traditions. His students remembered what he taught them, keeping the memory of the samurai alive. Saigo's spirit lived on in them, showing how strong cultural heritage can be. The Satsuma Rebellion was Saigo's last fight. He knew he couldn't win, but he wouldn't give up his beliefs. He chose to fight and die for what he believed in. Saigo's last stand became a powerful symbol in Japan. He became a hero who died for what he believed in. His death marked the end of the samurai era. He fought bravely, but his world was gone. The future belonged to the new Japan, but even in losing, Saigo left a lasting mark on Japan. SAIGO TAKAMORI's story is complicated and powerful. Born in 1828, he rose from humble beginnings to become one of Japan's most revered figures. His life was marked by a series of dramatic events that shaped the course of Japanese history. People remember him as a great warrior, a strong leader, and a hero. His role in the Meiji Restoration was pivotal as he helped overthrow the Tokugawa shogunate and restore the emperor to power. He became a legend, a symbol of fighting for what you believe in. Despite his eventual rebellion against the very government he helped establish, his dedication to his principles never wavered. People honor him for his loyalty, his bravery, and his strong beliefs. His final stand in the Satsuma Rebellion of 1877, though ultimately unsuccessful, cemented his status as a cultural icon. Even though he lost, he became a symbol of the Japanese spirit. His willingness to fight for his convictions, even in the face of insurmountable odds, resonates deeply with the Japanese people. His story reminds us that traditions and culture are important. Saigo's life and legacy are celebrated in festivals, literature, and art, reflecting the enduring impact of his contributions. It reminds us to be brave and stand up for what we believe in, even when it's hard. Saigo's story is timeless. His influence can be seen in the way young people today engage with traditional practices and values. It reminds us that even when things change a lot, we must keep our values. In a rapidly modernizing world, SAIGO's legacy serves as a reminder of the importance of staying true to one's roots. We must fight for what we believe in, even when it seems impossible. SAIGO Takamori's life teaches us that the true measure of a person is not in their victories, but in their unwavering commitment to their ideals. If you enjoyed learning about SAIGO Takamori, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories from history.